Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I appreciate y'all for being there. Jackson, you want to come make an appearance? Jackson? I thought Jackson might make an appearance. All right, guys. I was supposed to be on at 12. This is 12:06. My apologies. I was looking at some stuff and thinking about some content or thinking about some stuff to talk about. Um, so, so Trump tweeted that we still have, or that 80% sounds about right on China or whatever. And of course, it sounds too high to me, but what I'm thinking is the market obviously doesn't believe Trump because I think the market should be down way more than that. But I believe Trump. I mean, or anyway, just stay hedged. All right, please stay hedged, everybody. Here's my or get a little hedge on it. We're at a very precarious spot, and volatility is not that high. You can buy protection. Anyway, all right. So Max's model portfolio up 30 cents. That's really good since this is exactly what I want it to be. That, on sideways days where I'm just beating the heck out of the market, or sideways to down days, and that's awesome. And how is that? What's happening? It's because YQQQ and gold. I was up in the morning when the market was doing well. I'm up in the afternoon. That's exactly what I'm looking for. It's exactly the return profile I'm looking for. It makes an exciting time to retire because you can have a freaking income portfolio that's basically like a hedge fund, or you aren't subject to the wild swings. Anyway, it's a great time. Great time to retire. All right. So the other ones are breaking even. It looks like ULTY is costing, it's the riskiest one, and we'd expect that, but the hedge is offsetting, 75% of ULTY, and then gold and some other ones are, look at GPTY, that's a monster. Gold and GPTY are making up for it, and LFGY and stuff. All right. So I know we didn't look at many charts, but I just, for the market, that's a daily chart. All I was going to say is what I was looking at is this pink box right here. This is from the chart they held up with the 125% tariffs that, and the gap down that it created. Or no, I take the back. This box right here, this giant box is from that chart. This is from a gap a few days before. Now tell me those people didn't know something, because the people sold the heck out of it here, then, they knew that announcement was coming, or it was a smart play. Let's just say that. Okay. So we've already taken back the 125% tariffs. Okay. So that means we should stay over this line, because we should stay over 560, because that's where we were before that happened. We're just barely over 560. Now tariffs are 80%. And I don't think anyone really, because if they were really going to set them at 80%, that should crash the market again, at least halfway. I just don't think people believe Trump. They did the first time, but I don't think they do. The market doesn't, for whatever reason. So you can look at that a couple of different ways. If you, one way, I look at it this way. Well, just in case he's telling the truth, maybe let's put on a hedge, especially since VIX is cheap. Look at VIX, it's 22. Meaning you can get options relatively cheap. Do you know what the all-time average since the beginning of time is? Since the time of Moses, they've had a volatility index, and the average VIX is 19. It's really only been since, I think, the 80s, I think, is when they measure it. But anyway, for all that time, VIX has an average price of 19. 22 is not that far above average. Anyway. But so that means options aren't that expensive right now. So, and also it looks like we're kind of breaking this. This is your classic. Is that not a classic bear wedge? Have you ever seen a more classic bear wedge? Anyway, but yeah, like I say, the market's just not the 30-minute time frame. Just, we had like 3 good dip buys, and we didn't get far. We almost had a good one there, but this would have been a great place to buy a dip this week. I think we tried it and it's not working out, but anyway, it would have, the market, it didn't move far enough for our option to go in the money. All right. Well, we'll check out the options in a second. So let's check out, we checked out the model portfolio. Let's check out the Let's check out the buffer report. The GPTY verse, that kind of stuff. You think, what do you think? Who do you think's hurting the worst? Feet and 5E, S-vol, Z-vol. I mean, vol's not really up to. Let's look. What in the heck is that? Now that's a bad piece of data because somehow it thinks this fund's up 20%, which it isn't. It's not up 20%, but it's a bad piece of data, so it's making the whole thing off. Well, so just what I can tell is Z-vol's killing it. Look, Z-vol's up today. That's great. So we know SEPI and GPTY and LFGY, and also YSPI. YSPI's killing it. And I bet you that's fake. I bet you that fund's really up, but I bet you it's not up 20%. So let's look it up on FinViz. I just saw on Twitter or X or whatever, somebody bought the 540 SPY, not SPX, but they bought a lot of them, 50 million or something, or no, it's not that much. It's about 10 million. They bought $10 million worth of options. They expire. It's a lot for the SPY though, right? Or not. I guess maybe this one is up 20%. I mean, what the heck? What does this have? Maybe it's a fund of funds. So does it have some fund in it that's like doing something really good? It's not that one. 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 Do they have Ether? They have Ethereum. I bet they have Ethereum. Ethereum's up like 10% right now. That's what it is too. Oh my gosh. One of these funds, there's something called BTOP that's here. I know I'm weaving, but this is a good weave. We're going to weave over in a better lane. BTOP has Ether futures in it. It should be killing it. Now it's not up that much, but yeah, right now, look at that. Ether futures. For half the portfolio is Ether futures. The other half the portfolio is Bitcoin futures. This thing ought to be on fire. And it is up. Well, yeah, that's nice, isn't it? All right. What else? What do you guys want to talk about? But yeah, that's probably what's going on with that one. Let's go back here. And all right, GPTY verse. Yeah, I guess it's still, I mean, it's not really up that much, I don't think, but I mean, I think it's still a bad print, but there is something going on with Ether. So funds that have Ether in it are going to be blowing the heck up today. Let's get over here to the yield max buffer. But back weaving in the put lane. This guy bought $10.4 million worth of puts for July 31st. It's the 540 strike. I'm the SPY. I'm looking at the 533 yesterday. It's kind of the do or die. And I was showing you guys if it gets below that, that's what I'm trying to hit, but this guy is buying a put right at that level. So if it just goes to that level, so I think he's on the same page as me. If it just goes to that level, it's not going to give him any protection unless maybe he's going to sell out of it soon. But I'm just thinking of it as like a hedge to a portfolio or something. But if it drops under that level, it could get really bad for a portfolio just because of the way the market works. We look at charts all day long. So I think that's an interesting trade, $10.4 million worth. Anyway, all right. I know somebody in the comments knows why that's blowing up. So let me get back over here in the comments. Ether's going up. Hey, SB. Yeah, Ether's on fire today. And I asked in Discord and no one really knows. And which is fine. We don't really have much, or no one that's commented yet knows. I'm sure somebody in our Discord knows. Anyway, SB, thank you for being here. SB, I know, has had a busy day. It's a Friday, and SB's has a job, and Fridays are busy. And especially if you have a job and at the same time you're an option trader, you have two jobs. Or option trading is like half a job or something. But you got a job and a half now. But guess what? You're half the job option trading, especially when you trade weekly options. Your busiest day of the week is Friday. In fact, so, and I know SB had a busy day, but I know a bunch of you guys did adjusting these positions. So anyway, all right, let's get back over here to Yield Max Buffer Report. Anything else? I mean, okay. All right, I want to talk about this. Tesla's. Tesla looks incredible. AMDY looks good, but I want to look over here at this. I like to, especially since SB's here, I like talking about poor man's covered calls. SB is the poor man's covered call expert, and he does other things too, but SB is an expert at synthetic, at using synthetics and selling premium. And anyway, I'm always just looking for trying to teach. I like to teach stuff. So we have a few weeks ago, it was, we said, wonder if we just put on I was trying to show a synthetic, and I was trying to show a stock that was on its butt, maybe it was a month ago. So anyway, I said, how about Tesla? Anyway, let me just find it by, that's by expiration, by symbol. I want to show you this trade, but this is an example of how leverage can help you, or that, when leverage goes right. This is a definite example. All right, I just want to see how this, and actually this wasn't anything too crazy, a risk reversal or anything. This is just a totally asymmetric trade. I think what I wanted to demonstrate on this one was I was trying to pick the most likely spot for it to rally to, and where we're trying to hit is right there. 320 is our target, and we have till May 23rd. We have 2 more weeks. And if you look at the 1 standard deviation move over that time frame, which we can look at, it is right to 337 or something. So anyway, it looks like we got pretty close on this one. But I'm trying to think. What I was trying to show is how people can write options, because you're on here, SB, and I was trying to show how people could write options against a long. But I don't know. You would probably wouldn't do it against this one. You'd do it against a synthetic or something. Anyway, bad example. Anyway, but that's a bad example, but cool trade. But I think we do have a Tesla synthetic here too. Now, I guess not. I think we did, but it expired or something. I don't know. Well, anyway, let's just look at all these ones that are expiring today. Now that SB, so we'll look at by expiration. So this is everything that's expiring today. Okay, Coinbase. That one's winner. Rocket Lab. I thought I looked and it was a winner. Oh, it is a winner. Okay, there's 2 of them. So I guess Rocket Lab missed. So the bullish one was a miss. Okay, and the bearish one was a win. I'm always looking for a strategy where you could do 2 of them together and you cannot lose. And there just doesn't exist such a thing. But let's see in this case if we would have done both of these together. So this one's down $180. I mean, it almost can't work, because if it did, that's all anyone would do, and then it wouldn't work anymore. Okay, so here's the bullish one though. Bearish one's down 161. I mean, it can work in some cases, but it's usually like throwing your money away. Okay, yeah, and here's what happened. Here's the bullish one. Bullish one, we were going to make a $45 credit if we hang around till the end of the day, and if the market doesn't drop more than 1.8% from here. But yeah, that's nowhere nearly going to pay for the $160 loss on the other side. So like I say, it's better just to pick a side. Or I always said that. But anyway, okay, so then we have DraftKings. The DraftKings, I did that one in real life too. And I did DraftKings and Carvana in real life, and a hedge. All right, so I should have done this one. Why didn't I do app? Because this one, especially this one, I mean, this one's only worth 300 now. But look at this. I like showing this. SB, I don't know if you can see. Sometimes he listens in the car or something. But I like you could see right there. You can see how the trade has performed, how the spread has performed. And one of these was up a lot more because it made a move, but didn't go far enough. But I kept showing it every day. I think it was DraftKings. I kept saying by the end of the week, it's just going to be worth $199, or maybe it's Coinbase. Yeah, maybe it's Coinbase. Let's go look at that. But it was worth a great deal more prior. No, Coinbase actually went the other way. Coinbase recovered just today, just at 10:30 this morning or what. ARM bullish. Anyway, the buy the dip trade didn't work out. I did that one in real life too. I forgot. I did the buy the dip trade, 2 good earnings trades, and a hedge trade. So, all right. Anyway, been a good week. I was going to show that what earnings have been around, what earnings are going to be on next week. I was going to do it this morning, but then we started talking. Grateful Trader got me sidetracked talking about Delta, and I love talking about Delta, but I need to make a whole show just about Delta. All right, for next week, we have Hertz, NRG, Fox, Rigetti Computers, Rigetti Computing, I guess. What is Rigetti Computing? Let's look at that one. Wait, is that one liquid or it's too cheap, isn't it? Let's look at Rigetti. When we have Archer, SMR, that's that one used to be in ULTY's portfolio, so you know that one traditionally should have high vol. For some reason, this page isn't working out that well. But that's fine. We can still see what's coming up. Simon Property Group, they own a mall here in Austin, probably several of them. All right. ON, that is a shoe company out of Switzerland. I have 2 pairs myself. SE. What is, I used to know SE. SE used to be C Limited American. Whatever. I'm trying to think. I used to have a good story about that one. Anyway, Lunar, or that's Intuitive Machines. All right. Then we have Cisco. Just after the close on Wednesday. Before the open, nothing really. After the close, I just like big tech stocks that she trade options in, or Walmart works too. Just big stocks. Walmart, Baba, that works. Deere, yeah. Kava, AMAP, those are great ones. Okay, that's where I'm aiming. The Applied Materials, they always have some of the best options. Let's look at Applied Materials for next week, or let's just look at a chart of Applied Materials. The Thursdays are I'm telling you, it's the prime day to do them, because you can do a pre-earnings trade running up to it. Lots of times cash that in, recenter whatever the strategy you're doing, and try it again. Because especially in a bullish market, a good stock should drift up into earnings. Now, it doesn't happen every time, but if you do a 3-leg, even if it doesn't drift up, you got a little bit of yield and you got a buffer. And so Applied Materials. All right. Well, I mean, we should have bought that one about 2 weeks ago. What the heck? Look, that's a perfect reversion to the mean. They always talk about reverting to the mean. This one, and a lot of them, just got so far ahead of themselves. That is a great, great potential long-term buy signal. But in a bunch of stocks did that last, that's what happens when the whole market reverted to its mean. I mean, all right. Well, let's so at $160, it's not even too expensive. So let's try to put something on that could kind of play the trend. So we'll do something like SB would like, since he's here. Let's see. All right. Let me see. Let's see how that liquidity looks and stuff. There we go. This is an SB special right here. Oh, he's probably telling me not to talk about it. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll look at it. I thought you're texting me, hey, stop talking about my business. I'll beat your... No, I'm just joking. All right, I'll go look at the question. All right. He wasn't on here, so he didn't hear my brilliant football analogy. So I have 4 PLTR Palantir calls expire in 118. I could roll them right there for 1036, or should I Ooh, with a higher strike, say 124 or 444. Yeah, 4408. I get it. Yeah, so you could either do 1,000, roll them right where they're at. So what would really be helpful making this decision is having some type of market opinion, because depending on what the market did, it could help us make the right decision. For instance, if we thought Planeteer was going to keep going up, we'd do it one way, and if we thought Planeteer topped out, we'd do it the other way, possibly. I mean, cash is king. And plus, I think the market turns around here. I say take the more cash. I take the more cash and the higher buffer, whatever. And I would not prioritize the rolling out as much. But man, it is Palantir. And I mean, he's running Washington, his buddies are and stuff. I mean, it's a great growth stock. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one. What do you guys, anyone else listening? There's 7 people here, maybe somebody that's listening will give an opinion, but I'm pretty much always going to say, take the money in the bigger buffer. I mean, but I may not have said that 3 weeks ago. I hope I wouldn't have said that 3 weeks ago when it looked like the market was in the process of bottoming. And, back then, yeah, but, take the upside. But I think where we're at now, take the money and run. All right, back to the same mat trade. All I was going to show is this is the way SB likes to do. He'll sell a put down here, get some money for it, and use part of that money for the put to buy a call. But what he'll do is he'll go out. I'm teaching everyone your secrets. What he'll do is he'll go out a year or something. So that's basically like stock. He's made himself stock. All right, and that's the return profile at a year. So it's very similar to stock. In fact, during the year, it's basically like stock, and then just writes calls on that along the way, makes it income. Same thing YieldMax does, except SB does it. SB does it even better or he does it different. But anyway, would you say I described that strategy right? Because SB's he's really good at that strategy. He's an expert at it. He's probably doing the same thing on PLTR that he's asking that question about. But anyway, all right. But I think that Applied Materials, that that's I just do different types of earnings trades. But you could do that. You could do that and own this and then write calls against it every week. But that's not always so much an earnings trade. And I guess that's why I like the 3 legs, because I like to just sometimes pop in for 1 week on something. Anyway, we'll save it and we'll see which one does better. Anyway, but let me show you my idea. If we're just going to hop in 1 week and try to just nab that vol premium from 1 week or whatever. So there's Applied Materials. We'll go down to May 16th, which is next week. This thing is just super, super duper liquid. All right. I was giving my Delta speech this morning. I probably ought to set these with Delta instead of I set these with risk and reward, but it's probably not the best way to do it. Like I said, I really enjoyed that Delta speech, but I took that video down off the internet. It had a technical problem, but I'm going to make that into a whole video. I'm going to make that into a formal video. Access Delta lesson. All right. That's what I would prefer for an AMAX. That's what we'll look at also. That's the max trade, but either one could work. I mean, I'm doing the same thing as SB, except I'm not as patient. Or trying to think how to show this. Yeah, I guess you could show it like this. Yeah, that's my trade. It's the same trade as SB's, except it's in the weekly time frame. And maybe I don't have as much money as SB, or maybe I do, and maybe I don't like to risk as much, or whatever. It doesn't even matter. So I do the same type of trade, but I put it in a weekly time frame. But that's essentially the trade. So right there, it's a $300 credit. Take your wife to dinner. It's on $30,000 worth of risk. What is that, 1% for a week? It's not bad. And that it's a great way to do it. And all I'm doing is going like this. Okay. And then all of a sudden it's 100. And then, you know, I'm single, so I can still go to dinner, right? And take myself to dinner and, you know, control the downside a little bit. But the whole thing is this option. I mean, the whole thing is I want to earn a premium, but I want to have a chance at a little bit of upside just in case. You know, I just want to have this is maybe a FOMO prevention. I have a real bad problem with FOMO. I've always had a real bad problem with FOMO. I didn't know how to do this in like 2021. And you know, and NVIDIA would start moving and I would do the wrong thing at the wrong time, or, you know, it was frustrating. Anyway, we'll save that one and see how it comes out just for fun. But I'm calling this a pre-earnings because something like this, if you could get in, it's $1,000 worth of risk. It's a bullish play on the market and on Applied Materials. But knowing that they have earnings next week, a person could do something like this. And then in a lot of stocks there's lots of papers written about it that there's trend up into earnings. Google trend up into earnings, pre-earnings trend up. But then you go, so earnings on Thursday, then you go out here till Wednesday at noon and you reevaluate. Lots of times it's moved. You've already made 150. If it's made a 1 standard deviation move by then, and no guarantee that will, but if it's made an up move by then, the average up move might be around $260 or whatever. You're going to take that off. Boom, it puts the same thing on again, you know, $1,000 risk or whatever. But now you have $260 to the good. I mean, that's what I would do. I break them into segments like that. Especially if I can make more than 100 pre-earnings, yeah, and you can take it off and put on the same trade again. Yeah. You guys ever do that one? That's a tried and true one right there. All right. If you guys give me a request, I'll do an earnings one and whatever you want. There's a ton of them, but I just knew that was liquid. I mean, I'm going to do that one probably in my own account next week. All right. So SB saying, yeah, pretty much. He probably, anyway, thanks for letting me use you to teach, SB. You went for the 120 with the 794. Okay. So that's fine because you want to preserve a little bit more upside, right? Yeah. 118. So let's look at those. So let's go. Now this one doesn't have earnings I know of, but this is just his everyday play. I want to see if I can make a 1 week play that competes risk and reward wise. I can, but I can't earn the income. That's the problem. Or not the problem, but that's the disadvantage of mine. You say, yeah, you're real safe in everything, but I'm leaving a lot of income on the table. You know, that's the other way to look at it. Yeah, you got upside and stuff. That's great. But I mean, you know, that's the other side of it. And that's maybe what a pro option trader might tell me, you know, I don't know. But like I say, I got this trade. I didn't make up the risk reversal. Other people do it. I just adapted it for a small account. All right. So there's what I'm going to give just for an example of if you want to take a shot on, it doesn't have earnings, but if you're just bullish on just a bullish play for next week on Palantir, there it is. But I'm sure SB's trade is better because he's been doing this every week for months at a time, and he's got in the, you know, it's a whole different deal to do a will than do a little 1 week earnings trades. The 1 week earnings trades, it's just, you know, that takes a lot less commitment. I mean, there's a lot going on. Anyway, good job, SB. So what he do, he sold the 120 for 794. So let's go back to this. I'm going to look at this 120. Now we bought that one, but we're doing a different strategy. Yeah. So that right there, it costs $2. The one that he sold, and it's a 33 Delta. Boy, 33 Delta. A lot of people love to sell that one. Or some people say the 25 Delta, the 30 Delta. 30. That's right in a sweet spot where like JEPQ, JEPQ, I believe they sell the 35 Delta. That's just a really good, like far enough out of the money where we're going to get a ton of upside. But I mean, a lot of premium. Look at all this premium right there. See, $200. He gets $200 just off that option. Now I'm going to switch it back to my strategy. But my whole strategy only gets $154. And he got $200 per contract just selling that one option. So it's just two different approaches. We're both trying to, I mean, I'm trying to make some money selling these. I'm still getting theta decay from the put spread, but it's just, it's two different ways of doing the same thing, I hope. But I've learned a lot from SB and other people in here. We have a lot of good traders in our Discord. I'm going to post the Discord link in case anyone's in here. And we'll take a look at the market real quick. I'll let you guys get out of here. Where is that old Discord link? Let me get our Discord link. Boom. But I mainly wanted to come on here to tell you about the $10.4 million 540 puts. It's for July 31st, 7/31. Could just be a hedge. It doesn't have to be somebody that knew anything. But it was interesting to me, and I thought you guys might like that. All right. SB, thanks for being here and talking with me and stuff. I appreciate you. All right. What we're going to look at next, I mean, we've covered earnings trades. I guess let's see if anything's moving. Did we look at the Ether chart yet? I forgot if we looked at, I looked at this myself, but I forgot if I've shown this yet in this live stream. Well, that's the daily chart. I looked at the 30-minute chart and all I saw was this and I thought it was blowing up. Well, that just shows you about getting perspective, because I look at this and I'm like, holy cow. I mean, and that is pretty exciting. I mean, that's, you know, that's really exciting. Oh, I know one other thing I wanted to look at. Speaking of Discord, IBIT. Let's do something bullish. Let's go for the next level up. I mean, I don't know how we're going to look for this. I mean, we probably need to do something like a fib extension, or we can just go for the all-time high. Just saying, okay, we're going to bet it's going to take out the all-time high. If it doesn't, or bet it challenges it. So the all-time high is at 61. Okay, let's do something on IBIT really quick. Let's see how far out we would have to go. The last IBIT trade I gave you guys, I think, worked out nicely. Bitcoin's been cooperating. So what I want to figure out is how far out we would have to go to get, what was it, 66? I just said it was 66, right? 61. Okay. Okay, to get to 61, man, on something as volatile as Bitcoin, that's not even a full standard deviation away. That's almost in the cards. I mean, what's the expiration on this? So for even by this week, it's a 3 standard deviation move to get there by this week. There's 1 standard deviation, 2 standard deviation, 3 is right there. It's like a 4 standard deviation move. But we go out 1 more week because this thing is volatile. Let's look at the IV on these options. It's just 41 on that put. It's not too bad, actually. But we go out next week. Yes, that's plenty of time. Now, it doesn't mean it will get there, but it's plenty of time for it to be reasonable for you to make a play for it to get there. That's all I need to know. So all I'm going to do is create a biggest buffer if I can. I like a big buffer. Try to use the general kind of tasty trade rules, but adopt it for the shorter time frame. And like I always say, don't do this if you aren't a believer in IBIT or Bitcoin. Don't do this if you, or especially if you have a better way to play a bullish, tell me, tell me about it. I'll do your way. Anyway, I mean, this also, it's, you know, I'll look at stuff. Some of these things just cost $200 or $300. Those are, you know, that's, you know, I really like the ones I think that are the best range are the ones where it's 500, 1,000 on risk. You know, really the ones that are just 200 to 300s on risk. I mean, you could do multiple contracts, but some of these just aren't really worth it. So I don't know, but especially the ones that are even cheaper. But I really like that. I love when I have about 1,000 at risk. I'm making about 250 to 300, and you guys know, and that's why I send you guys those types of ones a bunch. You know, chance of profit 70%. Anyway, let's just put this one in Discord. You know, if you didn't think it was going to be there, get there. It's only it only costs $55 on $355. Only costs $355 to make this play. If you thought it was going to take an extra little while to get there, you give it another week. But then you're going to adjust the strikes. But once you adjust the strikes to make it the same trade, and let's scoot these down a little bit. 69% chance of profit. 68, 60, yeah. 41, yeah, that's more than 10%. All right, so then you could do that trade. It's $41, and you get an extra week. All right, I'm going to share that one. Go get the extra week. It's only the credit's only 41, but you get paid $41 to wait an extra week. So it's it's actually less return. But all right, guys, there you go. All right, yeah, 34 delta. Do you think that's the sweet spot, SB? And I was being complimentary. I meant crazy in a good way. But yeah, 30, that's just what's the inverse of 34 minus 100, 66, right? What's the one standard deviation, like 68 or something? You know, it's that's the magic ratio, the magic number, but that's right there on that borderline of one standard deviation move. Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing your comments, SB. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all for being here. Let's do it. If you want to, let's do an end of the day around 3. And we can, because I wonder if the market sells off more, but it's not. The thing is, the market's not selling off. The market doesn't believe Trump, but it doesn't not believe him either. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're just kind of here in purgatory. Right. And I forgot to show this. There's the 200 period moving average. So we're still a little bit under that. And sometimes I forget that. I thought we were right at the 200, but no, the S&P is trading 568 or something, 5680. The 200's right around 5,700. So we could still rally. You know, it's still a ways before you get above the 200, and we're really all in the clear. And actually, once we get above the 200, then the next thing we're trying to pass is the election night pass. I mean, or is the election night price. All right. Anyway. All right, guys. But let's be back. We'll reconvene at the end of the day. I'll try to be here about 2:30, and we'll see what else is up. Hopefully, I mean, that day mat trade, you could do worse trades than that day mat trade. It's not the worst trade I've ever seen. And that IBIT trades, I mean, I don't know. Use your own judgment. All right. See you guys.